What's up, guys? My name is Brett, and I'm going to tell you guys about how I ended up at Skid Row 3 in the morning. So, I was 21 years old. I just turned 21, and the first thing I did was buy a bus ticket to LA from Duluth, Minnesota. I wanted to go to LA because I wanted to pursue either an acting career or a singing career, and I thought that that would be the best place to go. So, I take this 2.5 day bus ride there, and I passed through Skid Row on that bus ride, like that where the bus station is in LA. It's like 2 blocks away from Skid Row. So going in to LA, I seen Skid Row, and I was looking out the window and stuff, and I seen all the tents, I seen all the cops, I seen people walking around with no shoes, no shirts, going back and forth. And I thought to myself, when I was in that situation, I do not want to end up there, because that whole bus ride, well, maybe not the whole bus ride, but a lot of the bus ride, I watched videos on all different parts of LA, and that was one of them that I watched a lot of videos on. So I wanted to make sure I did not end up in that area. Well, I hop on the bus, I get off that bus, but I hop on the city bus to Santa Monica. I stay in Santa Monica for a couple days. And what ends up happening is someone tried to jump me with their friend while I was sleeping in my tent on the beach. And luckily nothing happened. I just heard them saying it, and I heard them approaching, and I came out swinging with a pipe in my hand, and they ran off. But the scary thing about it was that they yelled back, "If we see you sleeping on this beach again, we're gonna fucking kill you." So I was scared. That was enough to scare me. I was 21 years old. I'm a big guy. I'm kind of a scary looking guy. So I don't normally worry about people messing with me. But in that moment, being as young as I was, and, as easily frightened because I was outside of my comfort zone, I just decided I'll leave. Okay, I'll go somewhere else. And it was the middle of the night. It was 1:30 a.m., something like that. And I hopped on the first bus I seen. It took a while for that bus to get to that stop. But I hopped on it, and I remember it said Venice on it. And I had no idea that that's where Skid Row was. I had no idea that that's where I was when I got off the bus. I just heard about that. I heard about Venice. And I didn't even look up that place either when I was watching my videos or stumble upon it. Well, I hop on this bus, and it's a long bus ride. It was an hour and a half for maybe close to an hour and 15 minutes. And I get to the last stop, and I get off the bus. Didn't even pay attention to where I was going. I was so tired. I just had my head down. I was I'll ride this bus till I'm at my spot, or till I'm at where I'm going. And the bus driver, tells me it's the last stop, and I get off, and I'm in Skid Row. I am at the end of the block of Skid Row, the last stretch of Skid Row. I'm right there, and I was terrified. I was way more terrified than those dudes saying that shit to me. I had a $1,500 laptop, my backpack. I had $500 on me. I had all my clothes. I had my mom's ashes with me. And then on top of that, I was well dressed. I dressed for success. I dressed to look good because I was going to LA and I wanted to have the best clothes I had. And so I was already out of place. I was already looking easy target. And I stood at that bus stop for a while. It was maybe about 2 hours. I just stood there because I was just okay, there's got to be another bus. There's got to be another bus. Well, there was no other bus. And the whole time I'm just looking around and looking around. I look like someone who's selling drugs on the side of the street. Like, I'm not dressed like that, but like that's how it felt, as I was just like sketchily watching everything. And I kept looking down and watching like what people were doing on Skid Row, like going in and out of tents. People were getting beat up. People were using the bathroom like in the street and on the sidewalk. People were like half dressed or not even dressed. And then on top of that, there was a lot of hookers. And I know that like, oh, you shouldn't judge people like that just based on the way they look. But like, if there was ever someone that like you knew was a hooker, it was the people I seen. They were hookers. And I swear to God, like every 10 minutes there was a cop that would drive by and they would stare at me, but they wouldn't say anything. And I always had this look on my face when I seen them go by, because I didn't want to run up and be like, oh, hey, help me. Because I had a feeling they probably wouldn't. But every time they drove by, like I had a very distinguished look on my face of like, I'm scared. Pull over and ask me if I'm all right, please. Because I'm not going to flag you down. Well, they didn't. And the whole time I'm hearing people fighting, hearing people yelling, hearing fucking just all kinds of noises that I was not used to. And eventually I got to the point where I was like, I'm going to walk away. I am just going to go. I will find somewhere to catch a bus or something. I'm just not going to do it here. And I walked away. And I thought, oh, I should go back to the bus station because there's the bus stop outside. And I know I can catch a bus. I would rather be in Santa Monica on the beach than this. So I walked to the bus station, but I'd made a wrong turn. Ended up at another bus stop where it was, it had the bus stop sign and then the bus bench or whatever. And it didn't have any like awning over it or anything. It was just like an old cement bench. And there was a bunch of people chilling. So I thought, okay, you know, the bus is probably coming. These people are probably waiting for the bus. No bus came for another 2 hours. And it was starting to get like light out. And there was one dude the whole time who stayed sitting at the bus stop. Everybody else just kind of came and went. Kind of like they'd come hang out and talk with this guy or talk to whoever else was sitting there at the time and then like disperse like 15 to 20 minutes later. But one guy stayed and eventually there was nobody at the bus stop. And he was like, yo, white boy, come here. And I freaked out. Like, I didn't do anything, I guess, right then and there. But in my mind, I was freaking out. I was panicking. I was like, this guy's going to want to fucking fight. This guy's going to throw hands. So I started getting in that, like, okay, we're going to fight. And I walk over. And he's like, what are you doing here? And I was like, well, what does it look like I'm doing? I'm waiting for the bus. I'm trying to talk back in a way that sounds a little more like, what's poppin'? I'll fight back. This ain't gonna be no easy robbery. So I was like, what does it look like I'm doing? I'm waiting for the bus. And he's like, yeah? Well, just so you know, this bus stop isn't a bus stop anymore. Like, the bus don't come through here anymore. And I was like, oh, makes sense why there was no buses. Do you know where there is a bus stop I can go wait at? He's like, where are you going? And I was like, I don't know, to be honest. I'm just trying to get out of this area. And he's like, oh, yeah, go 2 blocks down this road. There'll be a McDonald's, and there'll be a bus stop right outside it. So I'm like, okay, sweet. Thank you, dude. Like, I really appreciate it. And as I was walking away, he was like, yo, don't end up like us, man. I know you're not from around here. And I don't remember saying anything. I don't think I said anything back to him. But I just, like, I acknowledged it. Like, nodded and stuff, but I don't think I said anything. And I kept walking. I get over to where the McDonald's is and the bus stop. And this is the first time I've ever seen like people actively panhandling. Like there was people at the order window, or at the screen where you order your food, and then when you pull around and get your food, there was someone at the screen, and then there was someone at the window where you pay and get your food. And these people were like hounding everybody that came through. And luckily, like, you know, they kind of stayed and did their own thing. But this one guy, this one motherfucker came out of nowhere. I don't even know which direction he came from. All I know is he was behind the bus station or bus stop. Like this was a bus stop that had the awning and stuff, and I couldn't see behind me. Well, he came like, I didn't hear him coming or anything. Came right around the corner, and it was just this like 5'6" dude. Like he was pretty short dude, covered in dirt, caked in dirt, smelled really bad. Had one sock with his big toe sticking out and one shoe, and everything was caked. His skin was caked in dirt. I don't know if he was white or if he was like mixed, because it was literally that dark with that dirt on him. And across his forehead, he had shaved head, and across his forehead it said MS-13, which, you know, I know somewhat of stuff, and I know that's one of like the worst gangs, prison gangs, I'm pretty sure. There is, either way, a gang that there is, and they do some really fucked up shit. So I'm sitting there and he's talking to himself and looking around and stuff, and eventually he locks onto me and starts talking to me. I don't remember any of the conversation he said, like anything he said. He talked to me probably for like 20 minutes, and I know that I responded to what he said with like a, oh yeah, or like a, oh yeah, for sure, that sucks, like stuff like that. I don't remember what he talked about. I was just so sketched in that moment because, you know, he's a smaller guy. I know I could take him in a fight being a bigger guy, but I don't know what he would do, basically. Like, he could pull a knife out on me. He could pull a gun out on me. I don't know. I don't like taking those chances, so I just kind of played it cool and just was chatting with him. And anytime he started to get rowdy about something, or like, not rowdy, but like more aggravated about a topic he was talking about, I just kind of like agree with him, like, oh yeah, man, that's fucked, that's messed up. Because I do remember him getting louder as he was talking, like he was getting angrier, kind of like when you see a drunk person, you talk to a drunk person and they try to like flip things onto you, and you're like, oh no, chill, dude, like don't get mad at me. So but I don't remember exactly what he said. And the bus shows up. I get on the bus, and he follows me on the bus, but stays out by the front where you pay. Like, I paid and went and sat down, and he stood right by the bus driver and just continued talking. He didn't stop the conversation of what he was saying. And the bus driver's like, nah, you need to either pay or get off. And the dude starts yelling at the bus driver, and they go back and forth for like 5 minutes, until the dude with the MS-13 on his head was pacing, and he got off the bus, and the bus driver shut the door, and we left. And I mean, I ended up getting on a bus that took me to Beverly Hills, I believe. Yeah, it took me to Beverly Hills, which was like a complete 180. Like, whole different experience in Beverly Hills. But yeah, so that was my experience in Skid Row. Luckily, I didn't get my stuff taken. If I'd been robbed or beat up that night, I probably would have ended up being stuck there, because I didn't have any money or any other source to get stuff. And from videos I've watched, I've seen people, you know, get their shit taken from them, get their shoes taken off their feet, all that. And I had expensive stuff on me. It was a really scary place, and I do not recommend anyone who isn't prepared for that to go there. Like, I wouldn't recommend people go there interviewing people. I wouldn't recommend people go there to see what it's like. I wouldn't recommend that. Even driving through there, you make the wrong look at someone, they might smash your windshield. You know, the people that I seen there, just standing there at that bus stop, not the one where the dude showed me where to go to get to the other bus stop, but the first one I got off at, people were just unpredictable. They were just doing shit, wilding out, and it was scary. Like, I'm a big ass guy. I'm 6'2". I'm 290 pounds. I'm a big guy, but I was scared. You can't win every fight. You can't win every situation and have it go the way you want to. And when the numbers are against you, that's when shit really is not looking great. So I just want to stress that. Like, I would never, even if I came back from LA and, you know, I plan to go back there again. I will never go back to Skid Row because that will put that memory back in my head. That was terrifying, especially being the age I was and never experienced anything outside of Minnesota. So, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little talk video and stuff. I'm going to be posting more and talking more about going to LA and more experience stuff. So if you like that type of content, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, all that. I love just kind of doing this talk stuff. So, all right, my name is Brett. Nice to meet you guys. Peace.